Welcome to She Rises Up podcast with Gema and Lara. We are multi-award winning international coaches, authors and speakers specialized in women's empowerment and conscious leadership for women. Here we want to empower, uplift and elevate you with conscious conversations aimed to unify femininity, business and consciousness.
We're already live. Welcome to our fifth podcast, Gema.
I know.
Getting excited, right? It's like number 1, number 2.
Yeah, number 5. This is really exciting. This is something. It says something about us. Keeping the consistency and the commitment. I love it.
Is that right? Exactly. And anyways, before we get started, let's do some housekeeping here. The first point that we wanted to let you know is that, well, welcome, obviously. The second, this podcast is being it's going to be launched every 2 weeks. It's being launched every 2 weeks, so you could subscribe if you want, and that way you don't miss any of our episodes. And what else can we say? That this is sponsored by us. And it's why did we decide to do this podcast? It's because Gema and I, since we've met, we've had such deep conversations that we wanted to share it with others, because as we were going deep into the conversations, they were so healing for ourselves too, right? Full of insight. That there were lessons for us, and we thought that what a wonderful way also to share it with everybody else. And the way we do it is this, and this is the beauty of this podcast, I think. Obviously, it's ours, right?
Yeah, it's our way.
It's that we select an oracle card. Today we are selecting a beautiful card called the Gifts of Life. I actually, Jim, I didn't tell you this. I consider these to be my corporate cards. So whenever I do my back in the days when we used to, work live, these are the cards that I would take with me. And we select, sometimes we select them ourselves, sometimes they literally fly over. And this is how we know that this is the message that we need to talk about. Right, so we have 2 cards today, Gemma. We have the card of assertiveness and the of fulfillment. So it's called the gift of assertiveness and the gift of fulfillment. Of course, when we selected these cards, when these cards came up, we thought, wait a minute, because we also know that these are for us.
Yes. We know that. After episode 5, that's evident.
That is evident. So of course we're here with curiosity as to not only what can we share for others, but what can we share for ourselves. So we are co-creating this episode of all of us here.
Absolutely.
How shall we start this?
So let me say, these 2 words for me are so beautiful. They very high level words. They describe a state of being to me, the being assertive and the being fulfilled. And I'm going to love talking about this too. And like Lara was saying, obviously, let's see what comes out, because it's going to be something that we're going to also learn. Maybe based in the recent future, or something that applies to a recent past, or something that applies to a recent future. And for me, assertiveness, for example, it's been a constant in my life, because I used to be a very shy and timid little girl, and being confident, being authentic, being myself, actually being assertive has been something that I've been working on the majority of my life, to the point today that I can say confidently, obviously, I don't know if I'm totally there, but I am as assertive as I've ever been. So how did I become assertive? If I look at my own story, for example, that can inspire somebody, from being this little, very, very timid girl to a woman who has been speaking on stages, doing podcasts and training people, being in front of people and overcoming that fear of actually speaking, not only in front of people, but actually speaking. I think the key is to become more and more heart-centered. I think that's the key for everything. And to be assertive is the same thing, because it's finding that beingness that you are, that greatness, that spirit that you are, and just be that, and not having the fear, overcoming the fear of being that greatness that we're born with. I mean, we're born with a pure, authentic, innocent spirit. And as we grow, we get into traumas, we get programmed by the circumstances, and we lose the assertiveness. I was actually talking to my partner the other day about this, because I was, until I was 5, I was a very, very outgoing little girl, very outgoing. I used to talk a lot. I used to be quite bossy with other girls in the school. And then I became 5 and everything changed. My physical appearance changed and I became this timid little girl. What happened? I do not know, but there was a transition there, and I lost that innocence, and I became this timid little girl who was scared of being playful, of speaking. I don't know what happened, but the rest of my life I spent it overcoming that, and obviously that transformed me into the woman I am today. But we are born like that, so it's finding that returning to the innocent child that we once were. What are your feelings?
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Okay. What are my feelings? Wow. Yes. Yes. Do you know my beautiful prize is coming up. When I say my beautiful program, because I facilitate it. It's a collaboration I'm doing.
Yeah. It's pretty much yours. Absolutely.
Such a baby. I'm the auntie. I'm the auntie. Yeah. And we talk a lot about how to be assertive, right, in the context of the workplace, and in the context, mainly in the context of the workplace. But the truth is that to be a great professional, it starts at home, right? So there's so many thoughts are coming to my mind. The first one is, if I am faking being assertive because I went to a program, or I read something on somewhere, or I went to YouTube and it taught me this is how to be assertive, I think that we're missing a point there, because again, you've mentioned about starting, from the heart, and I'll add to that is that it has to come from a healed space, and I'm very obsessed with healing precisely because of that. And now I'm thinking of a story when in one of my last jobs. No, actually, it was my last job where I had a team, and I remember one of my team members said to me, and my bosses were telling me also, you're too nice. And we had a big meeting that I needed to convey a message to the team, and I said, okay, so let me be, I don't know how to say, let me be a bitch here, right? Let's show up with the energy of strength, thinking that needed. And I remember after the meeting, I got congratulated, because of my strength, but that was not in alignment with who I was. Thinking, this is not who I am. I don't need to fake a persona, because, and that stayed with me quite strong, that experience there. So number one, yes, can I fake being assertive? Yes, but no. Yes, but no, right? We know when something is coming from a true assertive space versus a space that, because I'm supposed to be assertive here, right? What else is coming to my mind? What's coming to me is, how can I build a better relationship with the word assertive? What are the belief systems that I have around the word assertive? What is the reason that I am not being assertive? Obviously, as coaches, these are some questions, for our beautiful ladies to think about. What is the reason that I am not standing up? What is the reason that I'm not using my voice? And voice is something else that I wanted to share here. And our beautiful coach, who was actually helped us as well to find that, right, to do some healing when it comes to voice. Because I realized also through doing this program with this beautiful man, is that a lot of trauma comes through the voice without even us realizing, right? And that also will hinder, that also will impact the way we are coming across as being assertive. These are the little, how do I say, the little influences that are still there, or the little recalibration that need to happen that haven't happened yet, that will also be impacting the way that I am showing up. So number one, it's about, yes, how can I build a better relationship with that word? What assumptions am I making as to why I'm not being assertive? How can I heal my voice? Because I am using my voice as an instrument to show up in an assertive way, right? And then, of course, is coming the power of words. Do we realize that words hold such a stunning, huge, massive, powerful vibration behind? Do I realize that? Right? I mean, it's called spelling for a reason. I'm casting a spell every time I'm speaking. So these are the things. And now we teach something in the program called the languages of leadership. What do we mean by the language of leadership? The language of leadership consists of three aspects of it, 3 Ps we call it. It needs to be powerful, it needs to be precise, it needs to be positive. It needs to be powerful, it needs to be precise, it needs to be positive. What do we mean by precise? Everybody says that. Everyone in the office hates me, right? So that is not precise, right? This is anyway. So this is what we mean by being precise here. And of course, the rest we I think it's self-explanatory. So yeah, and also I'm thinking, oh, interesting. I have another thought here. Am I sending mixed messages without me realizing? I want to be assertive, but I am sending mixed messages because of the incongruency that I have within myself that goes back to the concept of healing. Too much, huh? Gema, what do you think?
I love what you just said, and one of the words, the powerful. It has to be powerful, precise, and positive. You said powerful, and I think it ties up with what you were saying at the beginning as well. Powerful can come from love. Love can be really powerful. Love is the greatest force in the universe and heals everything. That's what I believe. So if you come from that space of authenticity, of inner being, of being you and confidence, but from love, whatever you say, whatever you express can be healing and transformational for the other person. Even your silence can be. However, if the power comes from, like you were saying, fakeness, or from the ego, I need to show who I am, or I need to show what I know, then it does. It still can change lives. Of course it can, but it hasn't got the power that coming from love has. It hasn't got the flexibility of coming from love. Love knows what is needed in the moment, and it could be a loving word, it could be silence, it could be a hug, it could be a harsh word, but coming from love, so that you know how to say it, so that you don't hurt the person but propel it forward. But coming from ego, you're not considering the person in front of you that much, so it feels your need rather than the other person's need. So powerful is a very powerful word, and want to be very aware of. Is my power coming from love, from my heart, or is it coming from my ego, from a desire to fulfill some need of helping? Even if you want to do good for this person, am I really thinking of the other person, or is it coming from my need to fulfill my need of needing to help? So I thought that was a very, very powerful word.
This is the interesting part, and we are reiterating on it, and I'm sure that it came up in other episodes of the podcast. Is it's so important to do the inner work. This concept, you make it no, please, no, 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 and no. No.
No.
So let's start being very mindful that we have to start with doing the inner work. And we could body language is so easy to fake body language, but if I don't have a good relationship with my body, if I don't love my body, that is going to show up regardless. So regardless of all the teachings or learnings that I've done in regards to how to be assertive through my body language, it's gonna come through. That is the vibration that we're giving through. And the same with how we say things, and the same with our words. Yes, the words are incredibly powerful, but if they don't feel right, Gemma, have you ever met somebody who looked the part, said the part, acted the part, but yet there was something about him or her that didn't make sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know, right? So that is a vibration. So
Mm-hmm.
I be assertive through my vibration, right? How can I
Yes.
show up from that space? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that, because we're experiencing massive changes going in the world right now. Many people are awakening more than ever, and it's the awakening is about that. It's about changing your vibration, becoming a better version of you. And it doesn't mean you need to be perfect or the best version that you can ever be. It just means being constantly aware of that you are constantly growing. And today you must be a little bit assertive, even you might want to fake it if that's the way you're going to go, but knowing that you're faking it until you make it, if that works for you, it works for some people. So it's the state of continuous growth that makes your assertiveness be real rather than fake,
Yeah.
like Lara was saying.
Yeah. You know, I think, Gemma, can I say something here?
You can say whatever you want. It's your podcast, Lara.
Do you know, I have an issue. I have a big issue with the concept of fake it until you make it. I have a big And the reason being, it's because it takes courage to fake it. It takes confidence to fake it, right? And it takes a lot of energy
Yeah.
to fake it. So might as well show up, right? And might as well do the work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this was saying earlier on with the words hold vibration as well, right? So if what else faking? So that was
Yeah.
that I wanted to say here.
Yeah, exactly. The audience will feel it, right? As like you were saying, did you ever meet someone who was showing the part, but you felt something was not right? Probably there was a part that they were faking there. Absolutely. Because when you coming from your whole spirit, people feel it and they just get magnetized by you. If there is something that is not feeling right, there's some part that is being faked. Absolutely.
Is it being fake? And do you feel sometimes that it could be that people are unaware also? Are unaware, but that what needs to be worked on. This is what's coming to I was one of my biggest lessons, and I would love to know what has been your biggest lesson of the last few days. One of the biggest lessons of the last 2 weeks is that things need to be very much aligned and work from a place of integrity. And the word that's coming to mind is also the becoming word. And in fact, the comes, it was, could I teach it? Yes, of course I could teach it, but I couldn't teach it because I realized that there were certain aspects of that program that I needed to become first. So I understand that not everybody has had extensive work on themselves, or is not a priority, or they don't realize that this is something that can even happen. I lost my thought here. What did I want to ask you? I wanted to ask you something. Oh yeah. Sorry, did you want to
say the lesson for the week? That what I've learned the week, was that the question?
I'm going to ask you that too.
Okay.
When people, we're talking about some people might fake it without realizing. It's because maybe better as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because everyone acts from the best they can do, the level of consciousness they're at. Whether you are in a path of continuous growth or not, everyone is doing the best they can. Yeah. Absolutely, whether they're aware or not. If you're aware, the better, because then you can get your own feedback and improve and get whatever happened, get and improve it, and you won't do it the next time, but next time you will know how to do it better. If you are not conscious and aware of what you're doing, then you might repeat the same thing again and again until somehow you realize, okay, this is not working, I have to do it. So even from an unconscious point of view, at some point people realize this is not working, I need to change the way I'm doing things to get a different outcome. So absolutely. So that's why it's so important to work from the inside out and get that mindset of continuous growth, because that makes you aware of how you are showing up into the world and how you can improve and become a better version for you and for others into the world.
Yes.
And that gives you fulfillment, which is the second word.
Exactly. What did you learn? What did you learn this week? What has been your biggest lessons over the last week, 2 weeks?
So many things, but I think that the biggest thing was the concept of conscious love, or conscious love, because I was talking about unconditional love with my other half, and unconditional love I felt it, and he expressed it, and then when he expressed it, I knew why I was feeling it wasn't enough. Unconditional love, unconditional love is a giving. For example, in our relationship, we base the relationship in unconditional love. But unconditional love doesn't mean that you are aware of what's needed in the moment. So we came with a concept of conscious love, which to me, when I started defining it, when I talked to Lara and she asked me, tell me more about it. She does that. She asks me questions, and then wow, everything comes out. She knows what to ask. That's why she's the greatest coach I've known. Anyway, so conscious love.
Yes.
So conscious love is, to me, is being aware of being love from the point of the creator. And then you see unconditional love, unconscious love, the love of the child, the love of a parent, the love of the maybe adult who's trying to teach something, and everything is love from that perspective. So the way conscious love works is that you know that you are love. You love. That's what you are. You have got to that state of consciousness when you recognize yourself as being the energy of love, and one with everything, and ultimately one with the creator, God, the universe, whatever you call it. So you are love. And then you observe, you become out of that consciousness of being love, and you observe yourself being love, and realize that you have to separate yourself so that you can see how love acts in the world. And that's how creation started. God separated itself from himself or herself to become two, so that he or she could observe love in his creation or her creation. And that's what happened. Then you observe how you are showing up into the world. Am I being unconditional here? Am I showing up as a little child needing love? Am I expressing love from innocence? Am I expressing love from a lack of something? And then everything becomes love. And there's no love better than other, because you know you are love anyway. The expression is just the experience you are having. And then that consciousness of being love makes you see everything from the point of compassion, and that everyone is doing the best they can and showing up as the best version of love that they know they can be at that point in time. But you know deep down that you are love, and everyone is as well. So that was my biggest lesson this week.
Oh, do you know, I wish people could see us. Number one, I'm here looking at you, completely like mesmerized with your words and the pure poetry, and you there with your eyes closed, being connected to how you're speaking. Do you know, we need to do an episode of this. This is too big. This is too big.
Yeah.
Just, this, I have a couple of minutes here. This is so big that we need more of this to come out to the student of that. So
yeah,
wow, I'm observing you with every detail, to see what's going there. So move on. That is the concept of fulfillment. I mean, we had the card called the gift of fulfillment. What thoughts came to your mind when that card popped up?
Yeah. What came to me is that the level of fulfillment depends on your level of happiness, of your joy within, which we talked about in the previous podcast, number 4, I think it was. And it has to come from the inside out. You cannot be fulfilled by things externally. But then I thought, well, no, that's not true. It depends on where you are in your life. It depends on your state of consciousness. Because I remember years ago that I felt very fulfilled when I had my first permanent job when I was living in the UK. There was the job of my dream. It I made such effort and I grew so much to get that job, and I have my company car and I have my house and I have the job of my dream, and I felt fulfilled. And I remember looking through the window of my house, looking at my car parked out there, feeling really, really full. What happened? But because my fulfillment was based on external things, on material things, it didn't last long. It didn't last long. I felt fulfilled because that's what I was needed at the time. Or when you met this person that is, oh my God, this is a fairy tale, what's happening to me? But it's not the person for you. It's just one of the karmic relationships you have. It doesn't last long. It doesn't last long. But at that point, you were fulfilled. So fulfillment keeps growing as you grow in consciousness, as you become more and more authentic and assertive, and more of that greatness that you are. So fulfillment depends on your level of consciousness. It can be based on material things. It can be based on achieving goals and objectives. Ultimately, as your consciousness grow and you get to that consciousness that we were talking before of the conscious love, of that point of the creator, I am one with the creator and I am love, you are totally fulfilled by that feeling, and it becomes a state of being. That's the ultimate. So it depends. Your level of fulfillment will depend on your level of consciousness, and at each different stage will be different. When it's based on material things or on goals, on emotional things, it will last. When you get to that state of being, you are fulfilled, but just being you, then it's everlasting. Then you made it.
Wow, I love that so much, because I was, I'm listening to you, and woof, like so many ideas were coming also to mind, and it's the external versus the internal fulfillment, right? If I am fulfilled because I got the job of my dreams, what would happen the day that I lose that job, right? Is that it? I mean, I remember, when was it? Many years ago. Was it Lehman Brothers, right? Yeah, I believe it was this bank, when there was it was on TV and everything else back in 2008, around that time, right, with the big recession. And I remember watching people on TV leaving the offices with the box, and crying their eyes out, thinking, I am my job. And I'm thinking, oh wow, oh wow, oh wow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Never happen. I'm not going to allow to be in a situation where who I am depends of what I do for a living, or what you think of me, right? So, very interesting. Thank you for the reminder here.
Mm-hmm.
So many of our listeners might be in a situation, especially they are in transition, and there's transition happening. This is the biggest transition ever, at least during our lifetime. So I'm sure a lot of people are thinking, that's I bring more fulfillment into my life. Where is true fulfillment coming from? These are the things that are coming, the thought that are coming to mind. And also, I am thinking the art of fulfillment will be or not. I'll be interested to know your thoughts here. Can I be fulfilled in silence? And I know that sometimes the art of doing nothing, it's very needed, and it's fulfilling and is needed, right? That we think that we're not doing anything, but a lot has been happening. So I would love to hear your thoughts there.
Yes.
That I have before I'll yes, you share your thought, is this: how about if our actions, and this is my last point here, how about if our actions, Gemma, were to be any actions at the back of our goals, or things that we want to bring into our lives or not, are coming from an inspired space, rather than coming from the space where I am supposed to, because this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Understand that many times this is not happening. It can't happen. Like, for example, I might not get, I don't want, when it comes to, I'm thinking about my corporate life back in the days, with SLAs and KPIs and everything else, some things need to be done, right? But a lot of things in our lives, any actions that we've taken, are they coming from a space of inspiration? Are they coming from a space of sacredness? Are they coming from a space of grounding? So imagine taking an action that is so aligned with yourself, I mean, how beautiful is that? Rather than because I'm supposed to be doing something, right? When we can, I understand that sometimes, obviously, especially if you're employed, or there's certain obligations that cannot happen. But how many times I'm running on that autopilot?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that question, because it's also so closely related to the previous question of can you be fulfilled in the silence of not doing anything? That is an absolute yes, because we used to go, do, let's be in action. If I'm not doing anything, some people feel bad, I'm wasting my time. And it's not that at all. Sometimes the best thing you can do, especially when you're in chaos and your mind, or you cannot take a decision and you feel in doubt, or you don't know what to do, just stop everything and get into the silence of your being, connect with that inner being and do nothing. Then it might be a minute, it might be a day, it might be a month, but you will get your answers. And that fulfillment of being present in the silence will connect you with that greatness that we were talking about, with that fulfillment, with that joy, with that happiness, and that will give you answers. And from there is what Lara were talking. Who's Sarah? Interesting. Well, Lara was here with us. Well, Lara was saying earlier, the inspired action. Then the action doesn't come from, I have to do this. This is what I should do because people are saying, or this is what I've done before. It would be that inspired action from your silence. And that will be the voice of your spirit guiding you on what to do. So it's very closely related, the silence and the taking inspired action.
Wow.
When you can.
That is the highest message that we could close this podcast with. I can't even repeat that. Listen to this podcast.
And learn. What did I say? Oh, wow, that was so good. Where did that come from? Who's Sarah, by the way?
It doesn't matter. So, wow. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. There's so many fruitful thoughts in this podcast. I have certainly loved being involved here, and great questions. Listen to it, stop, take some notes, and ask yourself those questions, respond to those questions. There's so much goodness that happened in today, and I'm certainly going to do the same. I'm going to do my homework here too. Gema, any final before we say goodbye?
Yes, I think that the key point in this and with everything is that everything comes from the inside out. Lara said it's the continuous growth, the doing the work, the shadow work that takes you into being assertive, if that's what you want to be, or to be fulfilled in whatever stage of your life you are. It's the inner work and being centered of your being in your heart.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Gema, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Lara.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
That's all for today, ladies. Thank you so much for joining our conversation, and we truly hope you loved it. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe to our podcast and also share it with other fabulous ladies so they could benefit from it too. If you want to get in touch, you could find us on all major social media platforms. Speak to you very soon.